the friend said to my daughter, my dad has said that, we shouldn't have to study Black History Month because this is a white country, and so we shouldn't have to spend any time doing this. And furthermore, all black men are rapists.
Wow!
I kid you not, that was said. Wow. So my daughter comes and tells me, so you can imagine, I'm fuming.
Cool. Hi, welcome back. This is LLsTheTruth. I've got some really special guests with me this week. On my left, I have Paul, Dino and Mark, the Mandem, and I also have Sharon. So please remember to subscribe to the channel. Please do share with your friends and family, and we'll be looking forward to your comments. Now, this week's episode is entitled, Please Leave My Brothers Alone, Will Ya? Now, the reason why we're going to discuss this topic is because there's been some brief discussions between us where black men might feel that they are sort of ostracized in society. They haven't got the footing they're supposed to be. And there might be a number of reasons for this. So I thought I'd have a discussion with a few friends, see what their perception is, because they're black men. Fine as well, can you see? And so, do you think that black men are still considered as aggressive, intimidating, threatening? You've got any opinions on that?
Who's going first? Anybody?
They're not this shy, honestly.
I think younger black men, so from, 18 to between 18 and 30, I think because obviously they're younger, and obviously they're more on the street. And I think if you see them in a group, or I suppose if white people see them in a group, they can be perceived as being threatening or related to gangs.
Yeah.
So I think from that perspective, they can be seen as aggressive. But I think as you get older, I think people realise, well, you're either in a job, you got a business, you're more mature, so not necessarily. But I think for the younger generation, I think the younger generation do get a raw deal.
Yeah.
I know people who will simply go to McDonald's in a group, obviously just to go and buy their food or what have you, and automatically either people in McDonald's, and I'm saying McDonald's, it could be Burger King or anywhere, they're perceived, because they're in a group, that might be up to no good. And I think it's unfair, because if you've seen a similar kind of group with white people or Asian people, say, there's not that same perception that that particular group is being viewed as being aggressive or could be up to no good or trying to rob someone or do you know what I mean? So it's a definite stereotype. So that's why I think younger people get a raw deal. I don't think so much for, I suppose, my generation who are a little bit older, but I suppose the same could be said that if you're in a group, people could look at it and think, oh well, those guys are in a group. So
but you say not for your generation, but in a work setting.
I mean, I was just going to say, I think it still applies to the older guys as well. But I think it's different, and I can give you a very recent example. So someone that I know, I have to be careful what I say. So there was a scenario where there's a company, and a black male is the cleaner that comes in and cleans in the evenings, has been there for a number of years, no problem, gets on very well with the regular staff. A senior member of staff has joined this company, and not that long ago was in the office when this person came in to do his job. So this person came in, he's dressed casually, has got a cap on, but he's a mature man. And that individual was really like, hey, sorry, what you're doing here? Kind of thing. He says, well, I'm here to work. But the whole approach was very, whereas I believe had it been a white male who had never seen before, the approach would have been different. So
why are they so afraid of you guys? What is it about? They're just afraid, threatened.
Power.
Power. They're frightened that you might get power and step across them or what? Because it's just ridiculous to me, don't you think?
For myself, I just feel as if there's just been a lot of stereotypes from years ago.
Yeah.
It's just carried on through.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, in certain situations, I feel that I've had to adopt a certain persona when I'm in a certain environment, simply because I may be the only male, and you're trying to not come across as the way
aggressive.
And I don't see why I have to do so. In recent years, it's like, I can't be bothered. You just have to take me as I am. But I think it's a learning process.
I don't like that word aggressive anyway, because it's just your tone. It's who you are, and I think if they get to know who you are, it's not aggressive. It's just
assertive.
It's the word that they've used for years and years and years. So anybody that they say, oh, they're very aggressive, and you just raising your tone, that don't mean nothing.
And culturally, we're
loud anyway.
We're just loud and outgoing anyway.
But I think we've seen it even when the situation, there is no aggression, there's nothing in the tone.
Nothing.
It just comes down to you're black and this is
and if
how
your face
this
doesn't fit, then that's it, then isn't it?
Okay.
It's been like that from the test of time, though, isn't it? From going back in the ages, you know what I mean? How we are as males. You know what I mean?
But
the
then,
black race has always been quite
dominant.
dominant.
You think as well, though, that I think with some, I know how I've raised my boy, is that he needs to be very opinionated, and I've let him be opinionated. But teachers, I can only go by from when I was at school, I've always said to him, they're never going to like you because you're very opinionated and stand your ground. So if you're that kind of child anyway, they've already labelled you right through primary, right through to high school.
Right, and that's sort of borne out in some of the statistics, because Caribbean black boys are 3 times more black kids are being excluded from school. What's that about?
The same thing, isn't it? It's the same kind of
but then
stereotype,
sometimes it is the stereotype. But then, like I said earlier on, if your child needs to be challenged, they're going to think that he's being disruptive when all they need is harder work to keep their mind stimulated.
Sometimes they're not being challenged in the lesson.
Exactly.
They're not being challenged in the lesson. You're telling them foolishness in some of the lessons as well, so they might object or have a different opinion. Teacher doesn't really know what they're talking about in some certain, and I'm not decrying teachers. Teachers do a brilliant job. My mum's a teacher, I've got friends teachers. But sometimes, it's, when historical things are taught in class and they don't reflect the true picture of history, and a child then questions the teacher, that teacher probably feels offended or less confident, because they probably know that the child is correct, but they don't know the full extent of the facts, so they don't look stupid.
Possibly,
What they're trying to do with young males is trying to institutionalise them as well.
Yes.
So it's going from, as I say, the school line down to the prison line. So schools get excluded, go to the PRU, and then from the PRU they're going to prison. You know what I mean? And that's just to get them into that, get them, like I say, institutionalise them into that system. You know what I mean? Because they fear us as black men. You know what I mean? Society fears us as black men because of the power that we have. You know what I mean?
Do you think, though, because I don't think it's as clean cut as that.
I agree. I don't think it's. I hear what you're saying, but I don't think it's as clear.
Because the reality is, because I have some dealings with schools, and I can see how there are occasions when some of the black boys, males in particular, don't help themselves in certain situations. So for me, if it's a situation where this child has actually done everything that they're supposed to do, they have an opinion, but they've expressed it in a way that they're getting their point across, and they're not being rude, they're not being disrespectful. If they have done that and then they're being judged and penalised, then I have a very big issue with it. But if that young person has come
just bad. Unruly. Not having no behaviour. Yes.
They try it on and then I can't say what I want to say. So it just depends. I think definitely they can have a raw deal, but then there are occasions when I think actually, you need to. You didn't.
But I wanted to go back on, Mark, what you said at the beginning, because there is a tendency for young people to hang around together. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing. It's just that, and the police take that as an opportunity. We've all heard about the stop and search. A higher proportion of black kids are getting stopped and searched. And yet we're only sort of like maybe 3% of the UK. Is it about 3% of the community? The UK is black, but there's a high proportion of us getting stopped and searched because you identify with a description of a black boy with a cap.
Okay,
which could be anything.
Yeah.
Even if we're talking about some of the school rules in respect of how your parents, your haircut. Some schools didn't want you to have cane roll. That's culturally, that's us. Not accepting of us. So yes, there are examples, for instance, where black kids and black men don't help themselves, but certainly we shouldn't be tarred with the same brush. And I think that's when that happens, it really does irritate me.
But sometimes it's a lack of understanding. So if you don't understand black culture, if you don't understand that black boys, black men express themselves in a certain way, but they're not being aggressive, but you're perceived as being aggressive, then that's where there's a lack of understanding. So you're automatically giving it a label and judging it before you've even got to know it.
To know that person.
And again, kind of going back to what I was saying about the whole McDonald's things, I've seen it in shops where you got a group of black guys going into a shop, and you know that the staff in the shop, the detectives in the shop are mindful of that group.
High alert, camera zoom in.
Mindful of that group because they've come in, and in fairness, they've come in to have a look like anybody, any other customer. But if you're coming in a group and you're a certain age group and you're wearing a certain type of clothes, and again, I kind of say that sometimes, black boys don't do themselves justice because they come in wearing the same black outfit, black hoodie, black trousers. So in a way, they're giving off I suppose that effective, we're up to no good. But irrespective of that don't mean that if they come into a shop and they're looking around, that the staff automatically think, we need to keep an eye on these guys.
But what I would say is 9 times out of 10, if there's a group of boys and there's a black boy in that mix and the others aren't black, what do you think is going to happen in respect of if the police are called? Or it's usually the black boy that gets the worst consequences. Now, I saw on social media, I don't know where it was, but there was a group of young boys and they were in a park or somewhere. And there was this one, and he looked a bit mixed race, he could be black, could be mixed race. And the white woman licked him in his head and he had a gash here. And he wasn't even the one that caused the nuisance. He wasn't even the one that caused the nuisance. Now, why do we think that woman decided to pinpoint the black boy? So
it's historical.
It's racist as well. I mean, racist approach.
What you're talking about there, it's been going on for decades. And I certainly remember conversations, hearing my parents talk about certain things, and we're still hearing it now. And it's a real sad reality. But as we keep saying, you have a group of black boys, and there are immediate stereotypes about what they're going to be up to, and yet that same scenario with white boys, they're just and I think it's just disappointing that people just won't allow them to show themselves. If they're there and then they are causing trouble, then fine. But if they're there just looking around, we'll leave them alone and treat them like everyone else. But it just doesn't happen.
The sad thing is we're always seen as a threat. As a black male, you're always seen as a threat. No matter
but you shouldn't have to teach your young children.
You shouldn't.
The fears in society as they get older and the stereotypes that's been happening for years ago. You shouldn't have to do that. But in this day and age, I've had to do that. When you've got your boys, you've had to do that yourself, and it's horrible. That you have to prepare them for the real life and what's going to happen and what to do if it does happen. What you've got to do. And you shouldn't have to do that because does that happen with any other cultures?
No.
Can you imagine white parents sitting down with their white boy saying, you know what, if you go into a shop, you need to be careful that you don't look in a way where you're called, the truth is that probably doesn't happen. But for black boys, you have to tell them, look,
from a young age,
just be careful when you're with your boys, and you're in a group. just be careful. If you go into McDonald's, keep the noise down. Don't because that, unfortunately, that's what happens. If they make up too much noise, security be looking over, thinking, "Oh, what they're getting up to."
Yeah.
It's horrible because you have to prepare you young boys for the real world, for the nastiness that's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
And even in the workplace, do you know what I mean? It's just not nice.
No.
There's just just to get another example of something where I just think where all the stereotypical things come from. So my daughter, this was when she was at junior school, primary school, and she came home. She was a bit upset because it was Black History Month. So the school were doing, whatever they do. So there's a girl at her school. Again, I have to be very careful about what I say. But there's a girl at the school who was friends with my daughter. And the friend said to my daughter, my dad has said that, we shouldn't have to study Black History Month because this is a white country. And so we shouldn't have to spend any time doing this. And furthermore, all black men are rapists.
Wow!
I kid you not, that was said.
Wow.
So my daughter comes and tells me. So you can imagine, I'm fuming.
Of course.
And at first she's going, "No, Dad, I don't want you to say anything." Blah, blah. So I had to sit her down and explain. I said, "Well, look, if I said something about any other group of people and they were upset by it, do you think they would want it to be dealt with?" Yes. So I said, so we have to approach this. But again, it's just showing that these things are still being perpetuated.
Generationally brought down.
Absolutely.
And it's taught behaviour, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we all know that racism is taught, isn't it? Because we've seen the examples of babies playing together regardless of your background. They're just playing happily. Absolutely. But it's just society that then puts in their head who is higher in the hierarchy of society than others. So I'm just going to give you, which we all know in relation to how black boys are discriminated in society, but we know that in respect of death in custody, we've got the highest rates for black men, deaths in custody. Again, are they using too much force in custody and therefore we end up dying? And we've got a high propensity of black men that are suffering with mental health. And those services and those police officers and other people don't know how to deal with black people. We also know that black men that suffer with mental health are overdosed with medication. We've got the highest proportion of sectioned black men. I find it hard to believe, really, that we've got such a fundamental problem with our mental health, to be honest. We're not experts on this panel, but the statistics for me don't weigh up with what I see in society, with the men that I know and the families and people that I'm around. So I just want society to leave my black men alone, because at the end of the day, if you give them a fair leave them alone, let them prosper and develop and have equal opportunities to whatever they want to do. That's what I'm talking about. But sometimes women give black men a hard time, or even men a hard time, but we're on the black man tip right here. So
Do we looking at me for?
Look on the panel.
Yeah, look at me directly.
So, black women especially, we're able to live independently. We need to run our lives. We got ourselves together. We probably have our house, car, everything we want. Do we need a man? Because that's the message that's coming across a lot of the time, that we don't need a man. And what can a man do for me anyway? So I wonder if that poses a bit of a problem to black men in society, when you're probably interested in a woman, but are you supposed to be chivalry? Are you supposed to be gentlemanly? Because the thing that keeps being said is, I don't need a man, I can do what I like. I don't need a man to do anything for me. I mean, I'm just putting it out there. Maybe I've got it wrong.
They'll put me for.
You've got an answer.
No, I think women have just become more independent. Rightly so. Why not? So they just feel that they're at a point now where if they do get a man, whether it be a black man or whatever, he needs to be coming with something that matches what they've already got. Yeah. And some of the times it doesn't always work for them in that way. So that's why they feel that, you know, why do I need a man? If the man's not bringing nothing and I've got all this, then I can do without. I can quite happily survive with that.
Yeah, so this topic is really about where you feel you fit within society as a black man. So if we've talked about society, how it sort of views black men, and then you've got the society about even your sisters may not even be putting you on the platform where you should be because they don't need a man anyway. So I'm just wondering, how do you feel about that situation? Are you fine with it, or am I just overly concerned for you?
It's a bit difficult now for me to. I can't speak about it personally now.
Yeah, because we're not talking about you.
So I think ultimately women are more independent, and as Dino has said, absolutely. So I don't think it's not the situation that a woman needs a man. She has to have a man, because obviously she can do whatever. Yeah. But I think you know, it is all it's about relationship, and so I can definitely understand if, you know, a woman is saying, well, you know, it's got to be a constructive man, full stop. He's not going to be any and anybody. So she, of course, that's what she would want. But I don't know. It's,
I think I'm talking to the wrong group of people. all in their situations or structures already. But do you get what I'm saying, though, Sharon?
Listen, I get what you're saying, but I think it depends on where you are in life in terms of, from the woman's point of view and the man's point of view, right? So I'll give you an example. So I think I'm not gonna say all of them, but I think a different age group. So your early 20s, 25, they seem to say what they want as a certain type of man, but in reality, they really want like what you call a bad boy. Yeah, right. So, but then when they get the bad boy, and the bad boy is doing whatever he's doing, it's not good enough. Yeah, right. So then they go, well, actually, what I want is someone who's more chivalrous. But then when they get the person that's more chivalrous, that's going to do the thing, that's still not good enough. So it's almost like
them confused.
Yeah, they're confused and they don't know what they want. Yeah. So I would say, if I was a black man in that kind of age group, I'd be thinking, I don't know whether or not, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Because I'm trying to be the person who I think my parents raised me to be, and I'm being, do this, open door, buy your flowers, take you on a date, But I just think women of that age group, like I said, early 30s, whatever, and obviously if there are women out there that don't agree, I apologise, but...
No, but I'm on your wavelength.
I just think they're after something else, but then when they get it, they're then complaining about it. Yeah. Oh, he's cheating, I don't get to see him, he's got all these girls on Instagram and But then when they get the man that will do what, you'd expect them to do, that's still not good enough. So I think black guys of that age group, again, probably get it hard because they don't know what to do. Yeah. So it's hard to fit into, do you know what I mean? It's hard to fit in one kind of, do I be this kind of guy, the bad boy, you know what I mean? And I know this man, and I'm a road man, and I can do this and I can do that. Or there'll be that kind of, you know what, I'm getting a 9-to-5 job, and I can take you on dates, and I can do this, and I don't know, it's difficult. I think it's difficult.
I think Sharon, what do you think? Because I think sometimes people want the cake and eat it. They want so much.
They do, but I think back to when I was in my younger days, when I don't need no man, right? I'll be honest, I was just like, I'm self-sufficient. What do I need a man for? Do you know what I mean? But I think you know what you need. Shut up. You know your criteria.
And even then,
right, exactly. Yeah, so it's different. It's different, isn't it? I think as you get older, you do know that there does come a point where it's just like, do you know what? You do need a companion, because your circle of friends will all start to settle down eventually, and then you're on your own, and then it's like, well, they've all gone home to their significant others. What am I doing? Watching TV? No, so later on in life, I do think, both male and female do need that significant other.
Yeah, because I think a lot of women do like a bad boy,
Not me.
A bad man, but not bad to them. But can you get that person? Can you get that kind of man? Yeah, a bad
you
man.
want it.
Yeah, a
If
bad
they
man
want
on
it.
street,
If
but
they
me,
want it.
you're just
If
gonna
they want
love
it,
me up. You're gonna
If they
kick me
want it,
off.
Don't forget, certain
Yeah.
people attract what they want, isn't
Yes.
it? So if you want that bad man, of course you're going to attract it.
Yeah.
But if you want somebody of a decent caliber, you are going to get that. Do you know what I mean? It's what you're giving out at the end of the day.
I mean, you can't expect, well, I want that bad man, but
Yeah.
then he's going to treat me
Yeah.
weakly.
Yeah.
That's his way. That's what
Yeah.
he does. So,
And then
Yeah,
when you
but
get to-
I
when
can
you
be
get to, you can't manage.
multifunctional. I can be multifunctional. I can be a good girl, and I could be a bad girl. But why can't I get that from a man too? That's what.
Because when
That's
you get
what
it-
we're
because when you
thinking.
get it, you can't
You don't-
manage
you
it.
don't
Yeah.
Or you're going to complain about it. Yeah.
And then things start happening. And then you start complaining to your friend. That's where the problem starts.
And Sharon, you know what?
And then you start
Just
listening.
wanna
And
it's not even wounded then, it's not wounded.
then them start listening to the friend again.
And the friends get involved.
Yeah. Well, I would be really interested in your thoughts on this subject. So, do we put our black men in the wrong place? Should we holding them high? And do you like a black man? Or what? Let me know. Thank you for watching and take care.